welcome to How to Survive and Thrive in an Impossible World with a Piano, the interactive wellbeing musical show thingy, where we invite you to get happy and get healed. Now, my name is Christopher Lydon, and for long forgotten reasons, I'm known as the Bishop. Now, if you'll indulge me, how lively are we feeling today? Let's see what happens when I play you this. Yes? Good? Excellent, very good. We've got a lively bunch in. That bodes well. There are a few points in the show where we need your help, so just watch out for those moments. Just in the nick of time, please welcome to the stage Mr. Steve Bonham. Now, who is Steve? Steve is my long-time musical compadre, a psychologist, vagabond, writer and adventurer, and the author of the book on which this show is based. Copies available all around the place. It's a mad, impossible world we seem to be living in, Steve.
It certainly is, and you know, it's not just the big things like COVID, Brexit, cost of living crisis, state of Derby County that break us. It's the little things that could tip us over the edge, like opening plastic packaging with your teeth.
So do you find yourself being passed around a call centre for hours on end, only for the line to go dead just as you get through?
Each time you approach retirement age, they're raising.
Realise your doctor has been replaced by an engaged tone.
Bring up your kids as well as you possibly can. Kiss them goodbye into the brave world, turn round. To party with your partner, you finally move back in.
Jet off on holiday, landing in the brand new airport, only to be put in the queue for slow-moving Brits.
We talk of only 6 months to live, but never mind, there's a follow-up appointment in 2028.
Discover you can't afford to put the lights on to even read your exorbitant electricity bill.
Discover somebody else has cloned your identity and now you're wanted for multiple offences in at least 27 countries, for some reason, including the Vatican.
Feel the urge to build an ark midsummer as the hedgehogs swim past your upstairs window. Welcome everybody to the impossible world.
Yeah. And if we are going to deal with this impossible world, we're going to have to face up to the equation of doom.
The equation of doom.
The equation of doom,
Okay.
by which the demands of the situation we are in, multiplied by the unpredictability of that situation, is greater than the resources we field that we can deal with that situation, multiplied again by the negativity of the mindset by which we face it.
Right, Dan's resources greater than unpredictability. Oh, so you mean when there's more going on than we can cope with?
To be a tad less flippant for the moment, we do live in strange times, don't we? The world is, I don't know, disenchanted with itself, out of control, disintegrating even. And us poor ordinary folk, the ones who don't live in those castles on the hill, are struggling to get our heads around what all that means. That can leave us anxious, frustrated, and lonely even.
With that I can agree. We live in the age of anger and anxiety, and we've all got to learn new ways of coping with things. So how is our show going to help?
Well, it's going to put lead in everybody's pencil. Yeah. It's going to take the latest in psychology, mix it up with some ancient wisdom, then deliver it through those timeless potions of story, song, dance, and laughter. Thereby, in a memorable and if not sticky way, engaging the unconscious and emotional brain.
Ooh. So you say How to Survive and Thrive in an Impossible World with a Piano is going to connect with our unconscious brain.
Directly and indubitably.
Okay, and that's a good thing.
It reaches the parts of the shows can't reach.
You know, when I think of the unconscious, I think of Sigmund Freud, I think of psychoanalysis, and the libido, repressed or otherwise. Now, no less than Steve, is this show going to lead to innocent people's libidos getting involved?
I never thought of that. You know, a little afternoon delight, you mean?
Right, better warn the back row.
Never know where you are, Bill.
With that in mind, on we go. Steve, it's an impossible world.
It certainly is, and it's going to get worse.
Worse? Great.
So.
A nice uplifting start to the show. How's it going to get worse?
It's going to get worse because everything's going to get smart. We're going to have smart
Right.
Smart cactuses with the brains the size of Einstein. And that smart cactuses are going to sit around feeling prickly and waiting to get watered. No, it's going to make plans. Can you imagine that?
I cannot.
Yeah, well, the plans and schemes of a smart cactus may not be good for us humans.
Right.
It all started with these things. This thing, my smartphone, it runs my life. It tells me when to get up in the morning, what to eat for breakfast, where to go for a walk, when to stand up, when to sit down, what to eat, where to go to bed, who to go to bed with. It controls everything. Actually, excuse me, sorry. It's just put my entire life savings on the 3:30 of Kempton Park and an old horse called Dead by Nightfall.
Right.
You bloody apple. Hang on, it's texting me back.
I thought you would be grateful, asshole. It's a dead cert. That's so typical of you.
Wow. Looks dead, all right. I'm going to be ruined.
Wow.
Well, if you're going to be like that, you can sod off. I'm shutting down.
Dear.
That will be just the start. Everything's going to change. Jobs, life, cactuses, phones.
So the reality is the world is mad and unpredictable, and it's going to get worse.
You may as well think so.
Our lives are going to feel out of control. What's that old prayer? God, grant me the strength to change the things I can change, the serenity to accept the things I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference. St. Augustine, I believe.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
I didn't realise St. Augustine was an alcoholic. It's a peril of the job, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a song about these times. We think it rather defines quite nicely where we are. It's called Nobody Told Us. Oh, we're on. Shit. Sorry, I forgot to listen now.
Did.
Would you guys help us out in this one, please? In the choruses, we need some clapping support from our lovely audience. It's going to be the same rhythm that my foot's doing here on this drum, so it's going to be a... Join in, give it a go. Yes! You guys have been practicing. It's like you know what you're doing before you arrived. Yeah, you got it, great. So just in the choruses, I'll shout out when they are. Do that. Perfect, here we go.
Nobody told us we'd end up living like this. Can't help thinking somebody was taking a piss. All those promises that didn't see the light of day. I can't help thinking there's gotta be a better way.
Here we go!
It's a bad sad world when the cheating starts. It's a mad, bad world that
That's it, yes.
it's a long, hard day when it's under
Keep on going, brilliant.
all of the trees got lost in the wood. You and I are fading away, waiting around the judgment day. You and I are fading blue, wonder what the hell we gonna do.
And have a rest.
Somebody saw it, but nobody said a word. Nobody called it, so nobody was hurt. Everybody argues, everyone looking around. Nobody matters, so somebody thinks they have won.
Here we
It's a
go!
bad sad world and the
Yeah.
chance starts. It's a mad, mad world that tears us apart. It's a long, hard day
Yes,
when it's
keep going.
understood.
Brilliant.
All the good trees got lost in the wood. You and I are fading away, waiting around the judgment day. You and I are fading blue, wondering what the hell we're gonna do.
And have a rest.
It's a bad, sad world when the children start. It's a mad, mad world.
Yeah, you got it, keep going.
It's a bad, sad world when the children start. It's a bad, bad world that tears us apart. It's a bad, sad world when the children start. It's a mad, mad world that tears us apart. It's a bad, sad world when the children start. It's a mad, mad world.
Bravo, good on you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Oh, so what do we do about it, your equation of doom? In this impossible world, do we sit around like bears on the ice waiting for it to melt? Waiting to be dunked into the slightly too warm sea?
That's a very personal metaphor.
Or like riding a donkey on roller skates. Sooner or later, you're going to fall off.
Also personal.
As if we're the universal hedgehog, scurrying in front of the steadily moving road roller of destiny.
Oh, pertinent.
So what do we do then? Surely someone somewhere can advise.
And therein, Bishop, lies the problem.
Mhm.
There's plenty of advice about these days. Yeah, plenty of advice. But does anybody know anything for certain when everything is so fast changing and unpredictable? What's the most unpredictable thing that's up to you, Bishop?
Well, I was once in an RTA, a road traffic accident. I was very nearly mown down by our late Majesty Queen Elizabeth. She was zooming along in her shiny new red Bentley, whilst carrying a sousaphone.
Carrying us.
No, I was carrying the sousaphone. The Queen was in the car.
Ah,
And then Prince Philip got out and told us all to fuck off rather sharply, if I recall.
it would do, wouldn't it?
What about you? What's your most unexpected event?
I was once kidnapped by a Chinese lady podiatrist in Hong Kong who threatened me with a big white parrot.
Is that a euphemism?
It might be. You know, things have always been chaotic, but there were, in the old days, some precious certainties. My mother knew that if you got into trouble, the police would help you out. Or that if politicians misbehaved, they'd get sacked.
Yeah, it's not like that these days, is it?
No, but that lingering belief that someone somewhere knows what is bloody going on does linger.
You know, when I was a kid, I always used to wonder who they were.
Yeah, well, who is they?
Who is they?
Apart from being randomly ungrammatical.
You know, they, the ones in the know. They would say, oh, you can eat this and you can eat that, but you can't eat that. And then they would come back a few weeks later and say, no, don't eat that, but you can eat this, that's fine. Eat this, eat that, don't eat that, don't eat that. That's how it is. They.
They're the ones who know, the experts, the advice givers. You hear about the karate expert joining the army. Karate expert, yeah. First time he saluted, he killed himself. Thank you. Yeah.
Got to worry about experts, haven't you? You turn your headset off, by the way.
I don't think I have.
Turn it back on if you have. You've got to worry about experts. You know, sometimes it's enough to be labelled an expert on something to be seen as an expert on anything.
Exactly. So, David Thatcherbum, Professor of Medical Engineering and Harmless Prosthetics at the University of Accrington, could I possibly have your views on the state of agriculture in Tottenham?
Why certainly, says Professor Thatcherbum. But I'm a professor of prosthetics, so let me give you a hand. Very good.
And whilst you're there,
All right, more.
comments on the last statement.
Oh my, of course.
Oh, yes, well, there we are. Do you know, I think all this starts at school, doesn't it? You know, we're taught at school there is always a right answer and somebody else has it. It's not the fault of the school, I suppose, but they're there to shape you to fit in. Or as the government likes to say, prepare you for the world of work. But the job of a school definitely is to mould you.
And we are moulded to be servants mainly, it feels like.
Yeah, so the ins go in and the outs go out. But we're moulded for the wrong world. We're fax machines in the age of the internet.
Cart horses in the age of the automobile. A handwritten cheque in the age of contactless payments.
Do you know, the motto of my school was that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Good grief.
bow down before the almighty correctitude of the education system. And I'm not that old, but one or two teachers would come flapping in gowns like crows to scare the shit out of me. My problem with school was I was always pulled back and forward between what I wanted to be and what I was supposed to be. When I was young, what I really, really wanted to be was a Spitfire pilot. And they said, Stephen, the war is over. And anyway, I'm too short-sighted. So I thought, I'd like to be a blacksmith. Stephen, you're not good with sharp implements. So I went to see Mr. Hertzberg. Mr. Hertzberg was the careers teacher. He gave me some forms to fill in, and then he looked at them and said,
"You would be best to take a job as a town and country planner."
Town and country planner? Well, ignoring that worthy advice, I decided I wanted to be a rock god, and so I became an ice cream man. And by this route, a psychologist.
Every word of this is true, by the way. Not made up for the show. Me, I was destined to be a doctor. That's the family business, with noble roots here in Edinburgh all the way back to Birkenhead. Standing before you today, relinquishing the opportunity to be a town and country planner and a doctor, we are existing on salty porridge, sleeping in deck chairs, the very living examples of not giving the correct answer.
Yeah. Do you know, there were some advantages okay with fitting in, but these days it's like being asked to put on a shawl and be Red Riding Hood's granny. Your snout finds you out.
So we're stuffed then. The world is mad and unpredictable, there's no decent advice that we can rely on, and we've all been brainwashed to feel helpless.
You may as well say so.
Great.
Not that there's no advice about there's any use, we just don't know what is useful and what's total bollocks.
I feel as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike,
A rhubarb armchair.
a size 8 dress and a 20-stone mud rest,
A pointy thing in a very blunt world.
a beef burger at a vegan convention.
You know, if we are going to take control of this situation, it's not going to be with the mindset of servants. We're going to have to learn to trust ourselves. Trust ourselves to be our whole self, all the things we've never used, our best possible self. Life is more than following someone else's goals. It's teaching your kid to ride a bicycle. It's laughing at somebody's till you cry. It's feeling someone else's hand steady you when you stumble. It's puncturing the overinflated tyre of someone's pompous ego. It's time we took time out, stepped back, and reclaimed the wonderful one-off weirdo that is me, him, you. And this next song is exactly in that sentiment. It's called Don't Count Me In.
Now one day when we get to tour this show to the Palladium, we'll have a full dance troupe with us, and a full band, but as this is the Fringe, darlings, we need your help once more. We're going to do a dance together. Now, put these in the bags the wrong way. Green ones are you, pink ones are me. Now, the benefits of movement and dance to well-being are well documented, so please take part in as much of this as you feel able to. We must thank our choreographer Svenja for putting together this dance for us. It starts with a bit called Clappy Bit, then a bit called Arms, and the rest you'll pick up as we go along. You have to vibe with it, like the first time you go to a spin class. Or so I am told. Now, but to shameless self-promotion at this moment, would you all get your phones out, please? Get your phones out. Take pictures of us in these ridiculous clothings. Send them to social media. Headset Wellbeing. Please tag us in. It helps promote the show. And we look silly, which is always fun. Yes, we're going to pose, take some pictures now. Yes, very good. Please do take a moment to tag us in social media later on. Yes. Very good. One for posterity, Steve. Oh, where are we? Selfie mode, come on. Smile. Smile, yeah. And with the audience as well, let's see how many audience we can get in. Yes, there we go. Brilliant. Now, please tell all your friends about the marvellous dance workout you took part in, led by these two fine dancers who are clearly built for the ballet. Are you ready, Steve?
We'll sit down.
We're going to sit down, yeah. Oh, okay. Just the Madonna headset. Ooh. Okay, so the first bit's called Clappy Bit. It goes like this. Join in. And Steve starts singing. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey DJ, you will play my song. But what about the fool?
And we do arms. Cross your arms. Don't count me in. So you move on counting in. Clap again.
Too much gotta do and do out of habit. Gotta push back from the person I
Arms,
am.
other side. Don't count me in. Arms again. Uh-huh. Don't count me in. Clap a bit.
There's a cat over there, he's looking at me. Wants me to follow him, but this is not
Arms.
me.
Don't count me in. Very good. Clap a bit.
I'm a soldier and a mystic, the baker and the thief. I could be a carpenter, that's
Arms.
my belief. Don't
Count me in. Arms again.
Uh-huh. Don't count me in.
Very good. New bit. This is the chorus. Hands in.
I was afraid I was
Pushing out. Big
losing
circle as best you
the
can.
will to walk
Palms down.
away.
And we're looking. So follow your finger.
For a blaze display.
And we scoop.
And let it ride.
Left. Right. Left. Right. Big switch up.
Got myself
Yeah.
into the cold
It's cold, so it's the
hug.
Enjoy that.
Time.
Palms out.
Left the sea.
Stretch your arms as best you can. And then tilt to the head.
Time.
Like 5, 6, 7. Clap a bit.
I live on soul food, I can't pay the rent. Got on a gun, or to live on
Arms.
Don't count me in.
Clap a bit.
Let me down on solid air, let me down on dreams. Open up the doors, folks, take it to extremes.
Arms.
Don't count me in.
Arms again.
Uh-huh. Don't count me in.
Clap a bit.
One thing is certain, the best will recover. I don't know who I am, but I will be discovered.
Arms.
Don't count me in.
Clap a bit.
I don't want to stand the root of my evolution. On the hell hold the darkest revolution.
Arms.
Don't count me in.
Arms again.
Uh-huh. Don't count me in.
And the chorus again. So hands in.
I was afraid I
Pushing out.
was losing
Big
the
circle.
will
Palms
to
down.
walk away.
Looking left to right, or right to left, I suppose. For you.
Looking for a blaze to play.
And then we scoop.
And let ride.
Left, right, left. A big swish up now.
Got myself into the cold.
It's cold, so a bit of a hug.
Fell off close
Enjoy
in
that.
time.
Palms out.
Left the sea.
Extend your arms as best you can. And then tilt the
No one
head.
cried.
And the final bit now. 5, 6, clapping bit.
Hey DJ, people play my song. The one about the fool who got it all wrong.
Arms.
Don't count me in.
Clapping bit.
Hey DJ, people play my song. The one about the fool who got it all
Arms.
wrong. Don't count me in.
Arms again.
Uh-huh. Don't count me in.
Arms
Don't
again.
believe it.
Uh-huh.
Don't
Count me in. Arms one last
You
time.
might well say it.
Don't count me in.
count.
Bravo, give yourself a round of applause. Stunning. Stunning work. We say it every time, but obviously that was the best group we've had so far. Oh, now, so, don't count me in. So, to be serious for a moment, if we can, after that,
Yeah.
what do we mean by taking a time out to reclaim ourselves?
Well, I think we've got to learn to see ourselves and other things in new
I think we
ways.
just did see ourselves in new ways, and there might be some photos to prove it.
New ways, yes. New ways like not being surprised by the unexpected.
Not being surprised by the unexpected. I like that. You know something's going to happen, you just don't know what it is yet.
Exactly, exactly. And resilient people seem to accept there's a large number of things they can't control, and they focus on the things they can control, which means they hang in there when others flounder.
I've got an old pal who's a hanger-inner there. Jeremy is his name.
Yeah.
Anything that goes wrong in his life, it's just character building, you know. He'll fall down the stairs and break both his legs. It's character building. Buys a new car, drives it straight into the river. It's character building. Puts a tin of beans in the microwave and blows a hole in his kitchen roof. It's character building, you know. I swear, as they lower dear Jeremy into his grave, there'll be a gentle knocking on his coffin lid and his voice will echo out, well, isn't this character building? Bless him.
You know, resilient people like Jeremy, you know, they're what I like to call optimistic pessimists. They're absolutely positive something is going to go wrong, it will do. I think I have learned more about thriving in this mad world from the people I've met on my travels than I have from all the psychology I've studied.
So what have you learnt?
They seem to have unhooked themselves from a sense of helplessness and have this kind of inner core of confidence. To do that, they keep their life really simple. They seem to follow a few universal rules. Rules of the road, you might call them.
Okay. So, what are these rules for the road then?
Well, there's 5 of them. Number 1, be wild. It's time we all rewilded ourselves, or rewold. Number 2, be strong. Know what you're good at and appreciate it. 3, experiment. Be experimental if you stop trying things out. 4, travel with companions. Surround yourself with good people. And 5, take the first step every day till you get there.
Intriguing. So, be wild or rewild yourself. What do you mean by this?
Well, what do you think of when you think of rewilding, Chris?
You can just ask me these questions all the time. Questions like this. What do I think of rewilding? I think of beavers all day long. Rewilding, beavers. Beavers, beavers, beavers.
Beavers, well, yeah, beavers are a good example of rewilding.
Yes, they are. Beavers.
Putting the beavers to one side.
If we must.
Rewilding happens when an environment rebalances itself. The things in it work together better. And psychological rewilding is much the same. And to rewild ourselves, we need to learn to see ourselves and the world as it really is, not as we think it is. Did I tell you about the time I came across a black mamba?
Second deadliest snake in Africa. Yes, a few times before. I believe it was sitting in a tree.
It was sitting in a tree. Now, where would you expect to see a snake? On the ground. Which is exactly where I was looking until I nearly walked with this black mamba.
Mamba, sitting at eye height, waiting patiently to be decapitated by one of your colleagues with a well-chosen throw of their machete.
I sometimes think you were there. Yeah, but there it was, at eye height. And I did not see it.
So how does rewilding work then? Am I supposed to strip off, stark bollock naked and go running around the forest? Get in touch with my inner caveman, go on a paleo diet perhaps?
All this might be effective, but in the end it's about untangling ourselves from all the stories that have come woven around us since we were young. Stories that tie us to a mythical past and a ridiculous future.
So who is the author of these stories?
Now that is the million-dollar question, the on-the-dot question of existence. Who have we let write our stories? Do you know, if we're going to be wild, we're going to have to untangle those and see ourselves again with fierce clarity.
You know, I'm just thinking, who would I like to rewrite my story if I could? Some famous author. Somebody like Terry Pratchett, perhaps, or maybe Ian Fleming.
Author of James Bond.
Why, certainly Miss Moneypenny.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Accent's not my thing. Who would rewrite your story?
A.A. Milne.
Right.
Yeah, finding myself somewhere between the morose depression of Eeyore and the over-exuberant ADHD of Tigger. If we're going to rewrite our stories, we're going to have to take that second rule. We're going to have to learn to be strong. And being strong is about knowing what you're good at, what you value. It's the big stuff. Now, we Brits, on the whole, are not very good at answering that question. So Americans are much better at it. They go large when we go tiny. What are you good at? I could put a man on the moon, I could put a woman on Venus, I could put the whole damn planet on Uranus. I could sharpen pencils quite nicely. I could fold napkins. What are you good at?
Well, shrugging off my British modesty as best I can, I'm quite good at playing the piano. I bake a mean loaf.
Yes, it's true. Bishop's daily bread.
And no one can tango quite like I can tango, as you might have guessed from my dancing earlier on. These are all things that make me feel good about myself.
Tango, piano, bread makes you who you are. They give you strength. They give you that inner strength that allows you to have self-confidence and self-belief in everything that you do. In the end, if we're wild and we are strong, we have roots that go down. Wild and strong, nothing can blow us over.
Wild and strong, I like that. Seeing things as they really are, not as we think they are or how we want them to be. I wonder what stories we tell ourselves every day that are actually undermining ourselves. What are we seeing in the world that isn't really there? Wild and strong is our good place where our best self can thrive. It has the potential to liberate us from an impossible world.
I'm thinking out loud. Where are you now? Where did you go? Something warm, something strong. Something warm, something strong. Something wild, something strong. I'm lost in a place between the now and the then, and the way things unfold. People wondering about the things that I've done and the stories I've told. There's nothing there to make me stay. Gonna dream my dreams away. Something warm, something strong. Something warm, something strong. Something wild, something strong.
Woo!
Thank you. So, you find yourself wild and strong. What happens next?
Well, as you said, wild and strong puts you in a good place. But it's not enough. It's not enough. We're going to have to be a bit experimental in this world in which we can't make sense of anything. We're going to have to try things out, be curious. Experiment not to prove, experiment to discover.
You know, I think people who say people don't like change, they're not getting it right. I think people do like to try new things out. We like to experiment. Take what we eat these days. You know, your generation would only eat something if it was brown. Any shade would do, as long as it was brown. Very occasionally, a little grimly grey or green was permitted. These days, anything that starts life with a heartbeat or its roots in the ground, into the mouth it goes. Nom, 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 nom. You know, chefs like Heston Blumenthal with his snail porridge or bacon and egg ice cream or twig salad. You know, all kinds of experimentation. Everyone's at it.
You know, there was experimentation back then. My mother took food in very unexpected directions. In a world of lard and stalk margarine, we had olive oil. Ooh. We were on holiday once, and we ran out of suntan lotion. And she looked at the Italians and thought, I have never seen a sunburnt Italian. Must be the olive oil. So she took an entire bottle, poured it over my head, rubbed it in very carefully, then put a couple of squeezes of lemon on to make it smell nice. You could say I sunbathed in vinaigrette.
Experimental for sure. Did it work?
I have always looked rather lovely on lettuce.
There's a challenging image for you all. Now, experimentation is vital to our well-being. It's how we discover new things. Experimentation doesn't necessarily lead to a correct answer, if there even is such a thing. But it opens our eyes and our minds. Now, a quick musical example, if you'll indulge me. A song I'm sure you're all familiar with, made most famous by Mozart, actually, but he didn't write it like a lot of people think he did. Just an old folk song he found and he experimented with it. It's called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Do you know it? We'll give it a go, why not?
I've been listening to what you've been saying, and I would like to join in now.
Right, Steve's phone is back. Okay.
Can I join in, please?
Well, there's not much we can do about it, really, is there?
I know the words.
Oh, right.
Here we go.
Okay, we're off.
1, 2,
Here we go.
3, 4.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Okay, now, Bavarian beer Keller style.
Right.
1,
Beer
2,
Keller
3,
style.
1,
Here we
2,
go.
3,
Up, above the world, so high, like a diamond in the sky.
What about zooming forward to the age of jazz?
One step ahead of you there, mate.
2, 3, 4.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
And the big finish.
A big finish, of course.
1, 2, 3,
4. How I wonder what you are.
Yes!
Thank you for participating.
No, thank you.
Big hand for my iPhone!
So that's it. A simple tune, a little bit of experimentation. You can go all kinds of places.
But we're not going to get anywhere if we think we can go it alone. We're sustained by the relationships around us. We are social animals. We should travel with companions.
Just think about those groups of companions over the years who've kept each other going through years of adversity. You know, Sleazy, Wheezy, Cheesy, Ropey Dopey, Grumpy Bollocks, or whatever their names are. The Seven Dwarfs. Or Monica, Phoebe, Rachel, Ross, Joey and Chandler. They're friends. Or what about David, Boris, Michael and the other one, George. Bullingdon Club. Ah.
Bullingdon Club. Yeah. Right. Gang of Pixies there. I don't think Michael was a member of the Bullingdon Club, but the other little piggies were. No. Anyway, companions in every culture in the world, in the myths and the religions and in the bedtime stories, you will find groups of people, companions.
We're talking here about the special friends, those marvellous few who, for mysterious, almost perverse, despite it all reasons, love us. They are the jewels in our lives, and we should embrace them.
Companions, the people we break bread with, is friend. Oh, really? Ah,
Bread? Bread?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah? Yeah? Yeah, foreign languages never your forte, were they, Steve? Companions, they're the ones that will give you their last dollar. Companions will pick you up when you're face down in the pool. Companions will take you to one side and from a place of love tell you if you're being a bit of a twat. While others will trip you up and let you fall, companions will step in and help you rise. We're on. 1, 2, 3.
In times like these, when the smoke of the night takes a while to clear until you can see the light, and all the colours run in the tears the morning sun rise. For a lonely little town like an antique guided down that seems so sad and afraid, no hope of being saved.
2, 3.
In times like these, when we don't know what to do, but even small things fall apart, the train just passes through. Tired the same old lies, as the truth wears her disguise again. Running along on empty in the land of plenty, feel it's now or never to take a chance whenever. Together we are strong, together we can breathe. Our folk from all our history sail the 7 seas. Get a little wild, become more reconciled. Together we can rise. Together we can rise.
2, 3.
In times like these, when the questions turn to dust, Where there once was gold, now there's only rust. The ghosts of the fall can't take the time to call on you. You and I were lovers, now we're real friends. Don't you run for cover, I'll love you till the end. Together we are strong, together we can breathe, unfold from all our history, sail the seven seas, get a little wild, become more reconciled. Together we can rise, together we can rise, together we can rise.
Thank you. So that's our big stadium sing-along number. So there's a chance for you guys to join in for a couple of renditions of the chorus at the end there. Now, just like with the singing earlier on, the benefits of group, with the dancing earlier on, the benefits of group singing are tremendous for well-being. Regardless of whether you think you're any good or not, just give it a go. We've got the words in the middle there for you. And to get that stadium feeling, would you get your phones out again, please? Find your flashlight function or your torch function. Get your arms up in the air and sway along. Make us feel like we're at Wembley or something like that. Yes, put it back there straight away. Immediately on the Spice Girls function. There we go, yes. If you can't find the flashlight, just turn the screen on and wave that. That's fine. There we go. Yes, brilliant.
Oh, beautiful.
As an old friend of ours always says, enunciate and bellow. Here we go. Here we go. Together we are strong. Together we can breathe, unfold from all our history, sail the seven seas, get a little wild, become more reconciled. Together we can rise, together we can rise. We'll go round again. Here we go. Together we are strong, together we can breathe, unfold from all our history, sail the seven seas, get a little wild, become more reconciled. Together we can rise, together we can rise. Last line one more time. Together we can rise. Give yourselves a round of applause. Stunning. Brilliant, brilliant. So, that's it then. In an impossible world, be wild, be strong, be experimental, travel with companions, and you can take on anything the world throws at you. Great. Good night.
Not quite. There is always the problem of the first step. You know, when you're on the high diving board of life and you think, I'm going to walk here and I'm going to dive straight into a half poleaxe triple flop. And then a voice in your head says,
Stop!
Stop! So you think, right, I'm going to tell my boss exactly what I think of him. So you walk up and you open the door and a voice in your head says,
Stop!
So you stop. Then it's like the time I stop on an aeroplane and I'm in there and I'm putting on the parachute.
Stop! We get the picture.
Sorry. The first step, the procrastination problem. All of a sudden, things suddenly seem too far, too hard, too dangerous.
So make your first step closer, safer, less stretching.
Remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a trip to the toilet.
And if you're wild, strong, experimental and travelling with companions, well, that first step can feel slightly less more difficult than you first thought.
You know, I was once walking in the Atlas Mountains, up this steep slope with my friend Brahim, who was a guide, and I'm wheezing and panting and spluttering and feeling sorry for myself. I doubled up on the poles and he looked at me with complete contempt and said,
Steve, you walk with no knowledge of physics. You take the same stride length of a slope as you do along the level, thereby doubling the effort each step takes. Take smaller steps. Ziggy-zag if you must, but don't stop.
Take smaller steps. Ziggy-zagging if you must, but don't stop is the finest advice I've ever had in my life. Do you know, how we face the world determines how we find it. And out there on the sea of threat, will come bubbling along some opportunities.
Even in the darkest of days.
Because that is the magic of serendipity, the universal law of happy accidents. So, be the best we can be, Be whole. Be ready.
The equation of doom that Steve spoke about back in Act 1, Scene 1, the impossible world. We've got to, where uncertainty overwhelms our sense of resourcefulness, we've got to redefine ourselves. Be wild, be strong, be experimental, travel with companions, and take the first step. Everybody, this has been How to Survive and Thrive in an Impossible World with a Piano. Thank you so much for joining us today and taking part so brilliantly. If you've enjoyed the show, please tell all your friends. We're here until Saturday. Scan the QR code for access to the website and feedback form and more resources. If you've got any of those photos from earlier on, please do post them to social media, tag us in, Hutsat Wellbeing, that would be great. If you go to edfringe.com and do a review for us, that would also be brilliant. Then we've got some merch, we've got CDs, books, all kinds of things. Speak to Steve afterwards, he'll sort you out. We have been Steve Burnham the Bishop, and to you we say get happy and get healed, and we'll see you out there on the seas of serendipity. Good night. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Duchess, we lovers, don't you know? I'll buy you the finest silk, she said. I'll buy you rings of gold. She said, my man, don't say those words. I'll not be so easily bored. To have me, you must let me sail on the old boat that you bought. Sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna lay with me. Sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna stay with me.
Two, three, four.
Great chest in the room upstairs with the rusty broken lock. No one's ever opened it in the years since time forgot. A broken wheel will never roll, a torn sail hangs in shade. And if you never hope for more, then everything stays the same. Sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna lay with me. Sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna stay with me. Gonna sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna stay with me. Sail the seas of serendipity if you wanna stay with me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for participating.